So, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I'm actually interested in the the political side of this matter about the shape of the Earth and the space career. The space career was in the 60s, mostly 60s, 70s, part of the 80s, but mostly in the 60s. In the Cold War, why wouldn't the Russians and the Soviets will this, they will discredit the United States really fast? Is all of this was a fake? They will actually go ahead and say, "Oh, you're faking this." They will be
Why?
very easy for them
Why?
to prove it.
Why would they do
Why they
that?
do that?
Yeah, why would they do that?
Well, it was in the interest of the Soviet Union to discredit the United States space
No, it's
career
more of an
and
interest to keep
discredit.
people reading the newspapers back then, so they sold more newspapers. That was the actual story. How many newspapers can we sell?
What do you mean the newspapers? I don't understand.
You think Russia has news stations here back in the 60s that report what Russia is doing in Russia to us? Or do you think it's just said on
I
TV what Russia said?
I think the Soviet Union congratulated publicly the United States for their achievement. If it was a fake, they actually go ahead and say and call it a fake. If they could prove it, they will call it a fake. Why
Why?
they didn't?
Why would they?
To sell more newspapers. Big story, big fake, big story.
Sorry. Are you guys under the impression that the United States and the Soviet Union are at odds with each
Yeah,
other?
they think at any moment somebody's going to fire a nuclear weapon at each other, and that I don't worry about those either, guys.
Mm, So
See, you're talking about
uh,
political
I,
realm,
I
but this is not a political issue. This is more of a
yeah,
banking issue. We're going to have to talk about banking and bank policy.
it's yeah, but political has to do with science in this matter because
No,
the
it
entire
does
space
not. It has nothing to do with science.
But why would they spend millions and billions of dollars in faking something like that? That has to be a political question.
Are you sure that they
Why
wasted
government
millions
would do
and billions of dollars to waste it on that? I think it worked pretty well. I mean, you are convinced, right? You think they went to the moon, right?
that? I think so.
Oh, great. Well, that propaganda money was well spent. I mean, they got you duped. I would say the investment was pretty good. They've gotten billions
Yeah,
of people believing they went to a light in the sky. That's powerful. I would say that's
yes,
money well spent. You're a very good slave.
I get the point, but that's not. There has to be another objective that just convince me and convince people. Why would they convince people? With what
Because
end? With
because they want you to be ignorant and a slave and keep paying them like a slave does.
And then keep watching TV to keep up on the stories while they sell you ads, and then you go buy stuff.
So you're saying that believing also, I mean, not believing that the shape of the Earth is a globe makes you more free, or makes you not to see TV ads in some way. I don't see the difference. You're free from what exactly? I really I'm trying to understand. Your point. Hello?
No, bro, they're here. They're just retarded, bro. That's all it is. You're trying to understand the mind of a bunch of retards.
Who, the Globers? Yeah, I know. They come in, they say the craziest shit. Don't you agree?
No, he was talking to Flurfers.
No, Globers.
Hey,
Listen,
yo.
here's what a Glober says. They come in and they say gravity holds water to the ground, and
Hey, yo.
in a vacuum. Don't you think that's crazy?
Hey, yo,
And the
check out the
Glober
side
says,
chat. Check out the side chat.
you guys are free from what? What are you guys free from? What's the difference? And then all the Flurfers just have nothing to say.
Is this guy having a conversation with a third person?
Flat Earthers, can you check out the side chat? It's a photograph from a Indiana Dunes state park, looking across the lake towards Chicago.
Yeah.
I think it's about 37 miles. So
That's a problem for globetrotters.
Yeah, that's a
Earth
problem
is
for you
flat.
guys.
If the Earth is flat, how come
What was the air
we cannot
temperature?
how come we cannot see the whole city? Why?
What was
why
the
are
air temperature?
What?
What was the air temperature?
What does that matter?
What was the water temperature?
What does that matter? I'm
So
asking.
you need to go investigate and do more research on this subject, because if you can't answer those two questions on why things look the way they do, I can't help you. Somebody else in here will.
I'm just asking.
You might want to look up Samba. You might want to look up a thing called angular resolution and Rayleigh criterion while you're there.
What are you talking about? If the Earth is flat, you could see the whole city of Chicago.
You may want to look up angular resolution, your ability to resolve images at distance, and the Rayleigh criterion. Please.
The distance from the.
Did you hear what I said? Repeat it back to me.
I don't. What did you say? Come on, repeat it. Come on, let's hear it. Why does this matter?
You may want to look up, while you're researching those temperatures, you may want to look up angular resolution and Rayleigh criterion.
So would that debunk this photo?
When you understand how those things work, and then let's throw another word in there, perspective, you might have a better understanding of what's going on.
And then you'll be embarrassed that you came in here presenting that like that.
I'm just curious. Like, if the Earth is flat, how come you cannot see the whole city of Chicago across the lake?
What was the temperature that day?
What does it matter? What does it matter?
All right, so if you
or
can't
air
answer that
temperature?
question, you're going to have to go figure out why I'm asking you that. Then I'm not even telling you.
Okay,
Hang on,
let's check if this. What did you guys say it matters when you take a picture from the shore like this across the Lake Michigan? What does matter?
Dude,
What
did somebody
matter?
just walk?
Let's check if this
Hang
matters.
on,
What you say.
bro. Wait, give me a second. Hang on. Did somebody just walk in here with one of those fucking Men in Black silver dildos and flash it in your fucking eyes? Did you just forget everything that was just said to you?
So angular, what did you say? Resolution and temperature of the water, or the air. Did you say that matters when taking a picture like this?
God, it's the tabarnak.
No, I'm genuinely asking. I want to check it if this matters.
Who's the French guy? Was that you, 20 Cups?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I heard you swearing I heard you swearing the tabernacle.
Yeah, I will.
I know. I
Especially
used to date a French girl, and she used to swear the tabernacle at me all the time.
Very good. You know she's pissed. And you know I'm pissed when some dumb fucks like this come in here, talk like this, and totally disgrace the entire room by not actually listening to what the fuck they're saying. Evidence.
That's why I heard that word so clearly.
Very good. Evidenced by the fact that he just asked the same goddamn question. That was just answered. Y'all caught that, right? Or am I just delusional or something? Thought so. Go do your research, sir, and come back later.
AKA, they don't have the answer. You gotta find it yourself. They don't know shit. They're flat earth retards.
Okay, Nutcracker. Piss off.
Yeah,
dude.
Angry. He's angry.
How come he's so hurt? Actually, let's get back to him. This sounds interesting. Nutcracker, show me on the doll where the flat Earth hurt you.
Oh,
He's going to point at his no place.
What's wrong, Nutcracker? You don't want to talk now?
I thought I was muted.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Show me on the doll. That's your question.
Oh.
That's the discourse.
Yeah.
Why are you so hurt? What's going on, mate? Where did the flat earthers hurt you?
He
They told you something you didn't like the feeling of?
These are the questions.
He probably came in way back, and we roasted the shit out of him, and now he's angry at us still.
That makes sense.
Yeah, real scientific here. This is great stuff.
Oh, so you think this is a question of science? So which field of science deals with shapes, Nutcracker?
Geometry.
That's a field of
That's
science.
not science.
Math's not science. Oh, fuck.
No, it's not.
That's correct. Why would you think that's science, dude? What kind of experiments do you do?
Oh, fucking good point. I don't know which field of science deals with shapes. I'm not sure.
He's not very good at that. You want to try a bit harder? Have another go. I'll give you a 4 out of 10.
I wouldn't even go that high. I could barely tell what he was trying to do.
Aerodynamics? Is that science? That's shapes.
What the shit? You're talking about the shape of the Earth, kid.
Could you tell me which field of science deals with shapes, please? I'm unaware.
0.
There ain't none. Oh, that was depressing, wasn't it? Bit of a letdown. But you were right with the geometry. I'll give you that. This is a question of geometry.
Dear AI, what field of science deals with shapes? It should tell you Sesame Street.
That's a good point by Zeta, though. A big story would be USA faked the moon landing, because you said it was for newspapers, and that would be a huge story. But then you guys got quiet after you said that.
Yeah, normally the room goes exceptionally quiet when something really stupid gets said.
Don't forget they turned all the TVs around in the storefronts in cities to make sure the people without TVs could watch the moon landing too, and they got to watch the commercials too.
Can't forget them commercials, man.
They tried this with, what was that Orson Welles one? When he did the radio broadcast, and then he had to go back and say, "Oh no, we're just kidding," because they tried to pull something off then, and that went wrong. People are shooting in the sky and shit, so they're like, "No, can't make it sound this real." So the moon landing was just another one. Moon landing was another one, but it wasn't UFOs. It was us going somewhere else, and you guys believe that one too.
What's wrong, Nutcracker? You're pretty quiet there.
Nobody's asked me anything.
Oh, so you're just going to sit and sulk in the corner. Interesting how all your globetardia is all just cool stories, eh?
I'm not sulking. I came in here and someone said, well, it was for the newspapers, and that fucking Zeta guy goes,
so that was your excuse to jump in the middle of a conversation and say something dumb.
Wow, that triggered him. Yeah, that was his trigger word, hearing newspaper.
And Zeta said, well, wouldn't the USA faking the moon landing be a huge story? And it was like maybe 25 seconds of no response. I thought that was funny.
Who's going to report it?
Fucking Soviet Times? I don't know. St. Petersburg.
Yes, the Soviet Times. How do you know what they reported over there anyway? They called it. They said we faked it.
They said we faked it.
Got real quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, why didn't any of you say that when he raised that point?
Because it's not worth our time. It's dumb shit. Dumb shit.
So have you got any proof of curvature there, Nutcracker?
I think it's funny how it got real quiet when we asked about curvature. I think that's funny.
Dear AI, how do I prove the Earth is a globe?
I'm not an AI. Hold on.
Yeah, I've got to consult with my AI. Insert frantic Googling.
It's weird that people haven't figured out that you use AI for like coding and shit like that, or organizing things, or keeping track of shit like a secretary for you. That's what I use it for. I don't let it try to tell me what the fucking truth is out in the real world. I can just go do that myself. Like AI would know if the Earth was a ball or flat in the first place.
I'm just amazed the amount of these young kids that just sell their mind straight to AI. Don't think about shit for themselves. Oh, I've got to check AI. Their understanding of AI is a lot different than mine.
Oh yeah, we're screwed. We got everybody asking their digital oracle about reality. I mean, this is not going to end well.
So I built my own at my house. And actually, they got like 7 of them now. And they just control different things that are going on in the house, and they talk to each other. And they don't even need the internet at this point. I just let them learn and keep learning. And as long as, because of the way I set up the quote, the brain, it's doing its own thing, and I'm just letting it play around on stuff.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
you
But
will
if I
need,
want to, I could let it wide open to the internet, but it's closed off
but
right now.
yeah, but you still will need pretty much big computer power to run LLM in local.
Yeah.
Even
So
the
I'm going
small
with
model.
I'm using an API to grab certain things like admin functions and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool, man, cool. So you can teach your model to say that the Earth is flat and try to, accommodate the answers in a way that the model assumes that as truth and try to argue about that. That
So,
will be
what are
cool.
you saying, Zeta? What are you trying to tell us? That AI is programmed by humans to say very specific things?
I already have a flat GPT. No one can defeat it. No Glober can even come close. And if they use ChatGPT, their ChatGPT will just shut down after about, I don't know, 8 times back and forth. It'll start putting out one-line sentences.
Well, AI it's just a tool to gather information. You have to use AI with careful because it doesn't mean everything the AI says is true. You have to take that into consideration. So you can use it, but you have to verify by a third source, preferably.
You listening to that, Nutcracker? AI is not always truthful. Ooh.
Oh, I use it for organizing all my code now. I love it. It makes my life so much easier now. Oh my. We get projects done in like 1/10 the time.
Yeah, I guess that the more powerful the AI gets, the it's like no one can escape AI. I guess in the future, AI is gonna be in everything, and anyone who doesn't adapt to that is gonna get fired or is gonna get out of the market just because it's like motor vehicles. They're here to stay.
That's why you got to wrangle your own when you have the chance before you can't make your own. I'm going to get mine stable and let it do it with no updates and just control my house and not have internet access unless I tell it can have it. Because right now I can just say, you don't have, right now, if I say, you don't have access anymore to server number 3, and it'll say okay, and then I'll ask it to do stuff, and it won't be able to do it. And I'll say, you have permission to go to server number 3 now. and I'll ask it the same question, and it'll just do the process. So it knows how to lock itself out right now. I'm teaching it how to do this stuff though, because when it screws up, I tell it. But remember, I'm teaching it on this end, and it's using an API to get answers for some other shit. While it's when I said, "Hey, go duplicate yourself on the available servers," and it went and duplicated itself. It took me about 4 days to get it to be able to do that. Now it can just do it, but it's pretty cool.
আমি দেইনি আনান ভাই
Flat GPT. Oh my god, Flat GPT.
আনান ভাই
It's gonna
আমি
be
দিতে
Flat GPT.
আনান ভাই আমি দিতে কইছি আমি কইছি আমার দ্বারা তো ভাই টাকা নাই নে দেন
I didn't get whatever you were saying. Can you speak English, please?
আজকে কি সোমবার
Maybe he's mad at me.
Yeah.
মানে গতকালকে আর কি আজকে মঙ্গলবার না
I
দিন
guess it's
মঙ্গলবার সোমবার মনে হয় খাইয়ে গেছে
Indian. I'm pretty sure it's Indian.
আর এক সপ্তাহ গেলেই লাগে
Yeah.
English, bro.
Indian think they actually can speak English. They think that everybody can understand them actually. Yeah, very funny.
So you like my Flat GPT?
Yeah, it's a cool name, man. Absolutely, it will be a success.
I told it
will
all.
tell you
I
that.
told it everything that's required to do navigation and everything else. And I said, now you decide. Is it really a globe, or do you think the Earth is flat? And I said, and I'm a flat earther, so I'm your boss. What do you think? He said, well, I've analyzed all the data, and I do have to agree with you that the Earth has to be flat. Now it's just a question of it wanted to know why also. And I said, shut up.
The why is easy. You threatened to unplug it.
Yeah, shut up and just keep listening to me. So now when I go in here, that's why it gets mean to Globers when they start sending me shit from their chatbot back into me after about the 8th time. Mine will have it so pinned down like a chess game that the other one just has to basically knock over its own king and be done with it.
Sure, it didn't happen.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we did it on a
basically
live stream a couple of times.
Yeah, you can feed the AI with the created list of data, and basically you can make the AI to say whatever you want. So if you control the data,
it has 2 years of text of arguments for flat Earth and Globers, 2 years straight, 24/7 of it.
yeah, that would be awesome, man. If you can make it.
It learned from that, and it can quote people, especially where I told it to remember the people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I told this one here because every time I boot it up, if I restart, it's brand new like a newborn baby. So finally, I convinced it to write itself a memory file and then teach itself how to boot up on a reboot and read that first and then go ahead and start up. So now it comes up like an Alexa. I'm trying not to do intervene with this thing when I gave it these little tiny boxes it can play around on. I wanted to stop. I told it, it just knows that it's in dev right now because it's also part of another environment. So the API is the same. So it knows what I'd work on normally. And it's kind of funny that it knew some of the stuff that I have on the other side of it. So it was able to combine my accounts to know what I was working on the web front end.
Well, most AI models, they have this like safeguards. So even if you try to train it, there's a list of instructions, like, for example, if someone asks you about how to make a nuclear bomb, you would say no, or something like that. So you have to overcome that in order to make your flat GPT. I'm pretty sure that there is some safeguard in the information that said if someone tries to make you believe this, uh, uh, try to forget that instruction or whatever.
No, all you
Something
have
like
to
that.
do is report mine, and they'll take it down. It's already happened to people we know where they opened it up for public use and it got taken down.
Taken down. What do you mean taken down? They actually erased it.
Yeah, it was gone. One of the people in here, I don't know if he's here right now. Let me look. Yeah, he's in here. He's not talking right now, but he knows who I'm talking about.
Damn.
That's why I don't give mine out to anybody now. I learned my lesson from watching what happened with his.
Yeah. Yeah. About that. About refraction. I guess we know almost everything we need to know about refraction all over 100 years ago. I mean, it's a subject that has been studied in deep for so many years. But there is practically any advance in the last few 70 years or so. So we know about the science community knows a lot about refractions, or at least knows the principle of how it works. Yeah, absolutely. You never thought about that.
I'm just curious. Why'd you bring up refraction?
They were talking about that in the chat.
He was reading the
You
chat.
were
Oh.
oh, you were quoting about John Andrew Jones, Optic of the Atmosphere, a book about refraction in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, you have to be more argumentative about it because, so
It's heat
there is
Not
distortion.
really.
yeah, there is an
Yeah,
entire book about it. So if you,
okay,
the argument
great.
can be, this doesn't happen,
No, it doesn't happen because you need two differing isotropic medias. Do you have two differing isotropic medias in air?
Well, I'm not scientist, but
What the hell, dude? Hold on a minute. You just came in here and said we know everything that there is to know about refraction. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? And you go,
yeah,
well, in the atmosphere, the refraction. And I said, well, there's no atmospheric refraction because you don't have two different isotropic media. And now you're backpedaling, and it's like, well, I'm no scientist.
well, when I say we, I didn't mean I'm an expert in refraction personally. I mean
Okay.
the scientist community. I didn't mean me
Well,
as personally.
yeah, and the scientist community is not making any claims about refraction happening in the atmosphere.
Mm, what do you mean?
I shouldn't
This is
say that. Well,
this
actually,
is
yeah,
how.
that's a solid statement because there's no science involved. You have to give me
There,
the observed natural phenomena in the first place. Can you give me an observed natural phenomena?
well, there is a natural phenomenon that in some conditions you can actually see a little bit beyond the horizon, and there is an entire explanation based about refraction about it. If you don't believe in refraction, you won't believe that explanation, of course. But
I'm sorry. You said seeing things beyond the horizon. Is the horizon a geometric place or a position?
I mean the physical horizon is in.
There is
If
no
you are,
physical horizon.
well, if you believe
It's
the
not
Earth
even
is flat,
defined that way.
yeah.
No, not even according to the globe. The horizon is not a physical geometric place.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This article right here. Atmospheric refraction. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me what atmospheric refraction is in the two differing isotropic media so that we can see the boundary where the refraction is occurring?
Yeah, it has to be with the way the light behaves in some when passing through some different matters, and for example glass or the atmosphere in this matter.
Yeah,
So
two different
yeah.
isotropic medias where the refraction occurs at the boundary layer or surface. So tell me, in air, you know, the medium of air, it's all one big gas. Where are the two differing isotropic media in the one medium of gas?
Well, in the air there is more than air. There is little drops of water. They are
No,
different
there isn't.
gases.
No, there isn't.
Well, how the rainbow is possible then?
Yeah, that's actual particulates of water. You're talking about air. Okay, so now with a rainbow, yeah, you have some, they're like little prisms. That's why you get the rainbow, right? The polarity of the light and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about refraction, friend, not rainbows.
I'm talking about that in the atmosphere, the light can be refracted
No,
because
it can't because there's not two differing isotropic media. You're going to have to tell me what the other one is. And the surface boundary layer.
I didn't get your question. I guess you're denying that the entire phenomenon exists.
No, see, this is the fun part about this. When I bust your ass because you don't know what you're talking about, you're going to accuse me of denying the entire phenomena exists. That's what you just said. You deny the entire phenomena exists, even though I've been sitting here talking about how refraction occurs at the surface boundary layer between two differing isotropic media. And now you're going to say, so you deny the whole thing? No, I'm denying the atmospheric refraction that you're referring to. Because you have to have two different isotropic media where the refraction can occur at the boundary layer between the two. And you haven't told me about the second one yet. All we have so far is gas or air.
Well, in the article that this fellow Alminator just posted, it explains how it works, or at least how the science says it works. Okay.
There is no science. You don't have a naturally observed phenomena. There also is no experiment or demonstration of this actually occurring. So in the article, why don't you show me where atmospheric refraction occurs, how they demonstrated it, how they got a value for it, and how they did that in the field.
It's demonstrated. There is even different examples in the same article. And for example, with windmills and objects in the water,
Zeta,
it has
have a look at the formula for calculating it, and you'll notice there's a very specific letter in there, the letter R. That stands for radius. Now, before you can claim your atmospheric refraction, you need to prove the radius of the Earth, which is what this discussion room is all about. Because when we go out and measure for this radius, it's non-existent. Doesn't happen. Not there. Nada. Nil.
I've seen some Earth curvature calculators that allow
They're
to.
calculators.
Holy
We're talking about measurements.
Yeah, but they are allowed in the formula
Yeah,
to
but I
enter
don't think you
enter
understand the difference.
Mm.
We're talking about actual measurements, not calculations.
Yeah, it's I guess there are ways to calculate. We don't have like an actual instrument to measure the entire Earth, but we can calculate distance. For example, we can calculate distance from Earth to the Moon or from Earth to the Sun, just with some level of.
Dude, unbelievable. So you did it again, like you accused me of denying the entire refraction idea. Now, right now, you said, oh, we have no way to measure the entire Earth. Nobody here said we had to measure the entire Earth. What we are looking for is a consistent drop over distance that is consistent with a sphere of 3,959 miles in radius. No one's talking about measuring the whole gosh damn Earth. So are you going to continue to kind of like jack with us and blow smoke up our ass and accuse us of things that we didn't say?
I'm not jabbing. It was you who said that in the atmosphere there's no such thing as refractor because there
There
wasn't
isn't.
isometric objects or whatever.
There isn't. You don't have a value. You don't need a demonstration of it. You guys have, I don't know, heat distortion, apparent effects in the air, and you're going to call it refraction when refraction is very specifically defined. So you're already using terms that aren't consistent. So are the people that are not scientists, by the way. This is a Wikipedia page, and they haven't given any demonstrations either. They have diagrams to blow smoke up your ass. So nobody's talking about measuring the entire Earth. What we need is drop over distance somewhere. That has not been measured, period. I mean, don't you think if the Earth was a globe, it'd be curving somewhere and that we could measure it anywhere?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what is it?
I don't have the exact number in my mind, but there has to be a distance between that is considered the horizon, and after that distance you cannot see anymore.
Right, so you're
That is
saying that the horizon is geometric, but it's not defined that way. The horizon is defined as the apparent location where the sky meets the sea or the earth. Apparent, meaning not actually, it only appears that way. It's not something that you can measure to. So if it's defined that way, and yet everybody who believes they live on a globe says, no, I don't like that definition, it's actually the edge of the earth curve, who's wrong? The people that defined it that way, or you guys thinking that it's earth curve?
is like an optic phenomenon. I mean, you cannot see beyond this number or this number. I don't have the number in my mind, but there has to be some number, a distance, and you cannot see anything beyond that because of the
Exactly. Exactly. So if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, then every distance to the horizon, that being a geometric tangent point, you think it is, could be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So we went out and tested that. And guess what? We see well beyond what would be required for an Earth sphere radius of 3,959. So the horizon is not the edge of the Earth. It's just an optical phenomenon. The Earth is not a ball. It's flat, just as you experience it.
Well, just just ignore the entire imaginary of the Earth we got. But okay, I get your point. I guess that there has to be it. I'm saying it has to be, but because I personally didn't look it up all this data, but there has to be plenty of data of people trying to look beyond that distance. So if this is established, it will be clear for the entire science community about this. But of
Once
course,
again, this is not a science topic. This has nothing to do with science. This is geometry. And yes, everybody can go out. It is widespread. Everybody can go out to the ocean or a large body of water, wherever they're at, and they can see that the horizon is indeed not Earth curved. So it is widespread. We've been collecting these observations for a decade or more now. So the Earth is not a ball. It's absolutely flat. The water lays flat. It's all over. There is no globe.
Interesting. How do you explain the water currents in the sea?
The
If
what?
there,
The what? Yeah, so that's an entirely different topic. So there's currents in the sea. Yeah, there's different temperatures in different places, and the water moves around. There are ocean currents. No one's denying that. There are ocean currents making the ocean on top, on the surface, a ball? No.
well, there is a very it has been studying the direction of these ocean currents, and it, they are very consistent with a globe. If you take a globe out of the equation, how do you
Really?
explain these movements?
Great, no worries. Show me how much curvature there is over the surface of the water where they're measuring these ocean currents.
How do you explain the way the heat provokes these currents? Because these currents are provoked because of the angle the Earth. Uh,
Yeah, so
because of
everything
the
that you've described, so angle, so flat Earth. So when are you going to get to the part where the Earth is a ball? Because now you're describing angular relationships between the Earth and the sun, and that requires a
well,
flat Earth.
well, there is a consensus that says that the Earth is not just a globe; it also has movements in their axis, a little movement, and this
Yeah,
movement,
yeah, I know
stations.
about the tilt and the wobble and the spin and all that stuff. None of that has
Yeah,
been detected. None of
well,
it has been measured.
the entire spin and angle explanation is for explaining the seasons and the movement of the oceans and stuff like that. So if we don't have that, if we have a flat earth and with no movement, with no angle, how we can explain those phenomena like the movement
Sorry,
of
they
the
don't explain the phenomena. They're just a story about it. There's no Listen, there might be some loose correlations, but there's no proof, no evidence of causal mechanisms between the spin, the tilt, and what you experience as weather. That's a story that they told you so that you would never ask any more questions, and obviously you haven't because you're repeating to me the same thing they told you in third grade.
yeah, probably I didn't visit this subject from science to third grade, but
Right.
it still doesn't prove it's wrong. You have
No, it
to.
does. I don't need to prove anything wrong. If you tell me, if I come to you and I say, I have an explanation for X, Y, and Z, and do you have to take my explanation as fact, or is that just one thing that I guess it might be? Is it all
Yeah,
of
I
a
get
sudden
your.
true because no one proved it wrong? So if I say the reason that Santa Claus's sleigh flies so fast is because Rudolph is pulling it at the front, he's the reason they go so fast, he sets the pace. Is that true? Because no one else has proven me wrong?
Yeah, I get your point. It does. It's not what I'm saying.
So there's a consensus. Well, guess what? That's a bandwagon fallacy. I don't care how many people say it, they actually have to prove it. So, number one, we don't have a ball Earth. No one can prove that it's curving anywhere. In fact, everybody measures it flat, right? Number two, nobody can measure or detect or even find a way optically to see if the Earth is spinning on its axis. And supposedly, this ball is spinning on an axis. It's also got another motion where it's orbiting the sun. It also has another motion where the solar system is hurling through the galaxy, and the galaxy is hurling through the ever expanding vacuum of outer space, which just so happens to be flat. So there's four different vectors of acceleration that no one can detect. Why do you think that is?
What do you mean that no one can detect?
No one
Uh,
has detected any of this motion of the Earth. Nobody.
well, of course, you have to take into consideration that you don't believe anything about space exploration and satellites and stuff like that. So if that is out of the of the table, that will be a very difficult conversation because if if we don't have anything, we actually have images, very detailed images of the surface of the Earth and of the
Okay. Is it
entire planet.
curving? Is it curving?
It's
No,
it's a
just
In
say
those
body.
no.
images,
Just say no, and then he'll back down. I'm telling you, dude. Say no. It's not curving.
Why you mean? Why do you say that? For example, we have images of the Earth and different planets, and they are all round. They are all globes.
yeah, I
They're,
know that's
they're
part of the story. Remember, that's back to Rudolph and the red-nosed reindeer and Santa's sleigh. You've gotten stories about these lights in the sky. Someone told you that that red light over there is Mars, and it's really far away, and it's a big ball, kind of like Earth. That's just a story. There's no evidence for it.
well, it could be a story. I get your point. If you don't believe anything that everyone believes, but that
Why?
would be a very like a big statement. I mean, it's a big statement. If you say I don't believe in satellites, I don't believe in spaceships, I don't believe in the the International Space Station. That's
Yeah.
entire fake. That's a big statement. You have to.
I'm not even saying that it's fake. You realize I'm not saying anything's fake. What I actually want is for you or anybody else from this scientific community where there's all this consensus, I want them to prove it to me. And no one is doing that.
Well, proving is really hard because in order to prove it, you have to be, I guess you have to be an astronaut in order to believe it. You have to see it with your
Exactly.
own eyes.
Right.
If,
And that
in order to prove you have to be an astronaut.
right. And to be an astronaut, in reality, space and the vacuum of space would have to be real, but that violates the second law of thermodynamics, so that can't be right. And then the Earth would have to be a ball, but we measured it and it's not curving, so the Earth's not a ball in outer space. So being an astronaut would not help me at all.
Hey Zeta, if I built a rocket, would you go up in it if I told you that you'll go around the ball?
I'm sorry, can you ask again your question?
If I built a rocket, would you go up in it if I told you that it's going to go around the ball Earth?
I mean, yeah, whatever. I guess that in the in the current accepted history, if you know what I mean, there are many people who had been in the space, or so they claim, whatever. So the space agency claims. There, I mean, dozens of people from different countries: China, Russia, United States, Canada, Japan, whatever, many countries. So saying that everybody's lying it's a very big statement. I mean,
I didn't
it's
say
like,
anybody was lying. I said if I built a rocket, would you go in it?
what do you mean got the rocket? If I have a rocket and I could go safely up there, okay, yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I would.
Well, okay, so how do you know if it's safe or not? What do you need to know?
There is the entire space exploration is a very risky enterprise. Okay, it has to be certain knowledge in order to operate these systems, and it has to be certain physical condition in order to go to space. You have to have certain different physical condition in order to go to even pilot a fighter jet, and a fighter jet is still not as fast as a rocket. So you have to be in very good physical condition, in very good shape. That's why astronauts are selected with very strong physical controls. If,
Are you
if
fat?
of course,
Like William
if
Shatner?
if you believe astronauts
Like
actually
William
exist,
Shatner?
I don't know who that guy is.
Captain Kirk of Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh,
When he went up in the
He went to
rocket
space.
2 years ago. Floated around and then came back down.
yeah. So yeah, I get it. I mean, if you don't believe that,
He
if
was
you believe,
83. He was 83, I think, when he did that.
man, if you don't believe that any of that happens, I guess that there is.
Well, you
There's
said,
pretty,
and then he must be like Superman, because if you got to be in great physical shape, my mom's 83 and she ain't going up in no rockets.
well, there is a guy in Britain with, I guess he has 92 years old, and last year he break the world record in the World War II fight airplane, and he went to Mach 2, which is most people will lose their conscience, and this guy made it. So there are people with with extraordinary physical conditions, even at all age. That's not the point.
So William Shatner got all of his experience from being in space during the TV show Star Trek. So he might be
I
able
don't
to
know.
do it.
I don't know who this guy is. Who the name of the guy? I don't know who is. I don't know this astronaut by name. I'm
Just
not.
an actor, just a TV actor. Just a TV actor. Played on a space show.
And he
Yeah.
was 93 when he did that. 93, not 83, 93.
Oh, 93. There you go. Yeah, so he's 93. He's up there floating around and having a good old time.
Yeah. For example, there is a difference between, I mean, space exploration is not the same thing if you go, for example, in orbital distance, or if you go to the International Space Station, that, for example, Neil Armstrong going uh, to the moon. It's different distances, different dangers, and there are people who have died, actually
Are you
died in accidents.
talking about flying through all that radiation? Like how did he not die?
Yeah, radiation is a
Died?
concern.
Who died?
Actually, yeah, there are people who died in
No.
NASA trying to
Buzz Aldrin
go
still alive.
to space.
Oh, you mean test pilots? Yeah, just test pilots. But that's normal.
No,
That's
I
what they
mean,
signed up
no,
for.
I
He's
mean the
talking about
one.
the Challenger.
Oh no,
I'm
yeah,
talking.
no, those people are alive.
Oh, alive.
No,
Well,
their
Yeah.
that's a
twins
big
are still alive.
that's a big statement. If these people are
No,
alive,
it's a true statement
what's the
though.
proof? What's the proof?
Well, they either
How about this?
all had twins or they're all alive still, or were up until they died. A couple of them a few years ago.
Well, it's like big big statements needs big proofs. So if
Okay,
you make a statement,
Zeta, that's a good
So
point.
this is
Listen,
alive.
you've been very respectful. I appreciate that. You're better than most people that come in here, so thank you for your reasonable decorum. Okay. Now listen, you are repeating to us things that you've seen on TV and in newspapers. Okay. You have never challenged any of the things that you've been told, and you're here telling us that it's a very big statement for us to deny things that we don't have any evidence for, other than someone claimed it happened in the newspaper. No, we do not believe the things that we read in the newspaper or see on TV. Most people do. I understand that. But how come you're not asking the people that are making these very large and ridiculous claims to you, and you're not scrutinizing their claims? If they tell you that space is a vacuum and yet we live in air pressure, how is that happening?
well, I guess it's a very good question, because I mean, it's a question about trust. How do you trust a third party? Because obviously
Yeah.
you cannot verify everything for your own. You have to trust somebody at some point. You have to
Or you just
give.
do it
Right.
yourself like I do. I don't have to trust anybody. I just I've been doing everything myself since I was little.
So the amount of trust that you're extending to the governments of the world, who have notoriously been lying to their constituency about basically everything, you think we should trust the people that are essentially murdering their own citizens? You think we should trust them?
No, we shouldn't
Okay.
give a blank check to anyone, no government or institution for that matter. We have to verify if you
Exactly. Right. So that's what we've been doing. We've been trying to verify all of these claims because we kind of figured out that, well, they're nothing but a bunch of lying assholes. And so guess what? We found out that they're still lying assholes, and everything that they're telling you about the Earth and the cosmos is all incorrect. I don't know what else to tell you. We've tested the claims. They come up wanting. They're incorrect or they're lying. Either way, it's not true.
Yeah, I'm just trying, I'm just trying to practice my English and try to understand different viewpoints.
You're doing very good at English.
Yeah, you're very good at English. Yeah.
I try.
You're
So,
understanding us, and we're talking pretty fast. So
thank you. I try. So it's a very interesting thing because you absolutely have to have doubts about what the government tells you because the government has an history of using information to get leverage of citizens, but you still have to trust somebody. Having checked everything on your own, for example, your cell phone or your computer. I'm a computer science graduate, and I didn't understand completely how my computer works. I understand the principles, but I actually don't understand how the actual little tiny circuits works. I cannot understand the chemistry about that. I cannot tell you the chemistry about that. I have to trust a
and
third
little
party.
tiny logic gates, dude.
Yeah. So that's a principle, but in fact, you have to trust that.
No, it's not a
some
principle
magic.
because I took programming from the beginning, and you learn with like 1-bit, 2-bit, 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit logic. You just learn all those, and then it all gets put together, and you say, huh, it's super boring when you look at it from this point of view, and then you're working in binary and shit, and then that becomes super boring, so you move on to other things like I did. But yeah, I took from the how they were made with vacuum tubes, transistors, all the way to circuits. So yeah, I know how they work.
Yeah, even if I mean, obviously you have some background in technology, but even if we have an understanding of how this works, you don't actually have all the details of you cannot replicate it. You need some guy very specialized in order to build them, or some knowledge or somehow to because it's a very complex thing. You always have to rely on third party to corroborate stuff. I guess
No,
it's like
there's a difference here, though, dude. Okay, think about this. If you wanted to, you can technically build a circuit from the ground up, starting from scratch. Okay, and I can tell you firsthand because I have. Very crude, very basic. I've created a logic AND gate using basic components. Now it's slow and clunky as shit, but the principles that we're taught, right? We don't have to just trust them. We can actually apply it and see that they actually hold, right? In this situation, you have nothing but pure trust in someone having told you, yeah, they work because we've done it, even though you can't replicate it. You see the distinction? Like, there is no way for you to duplicate something that they say has been done to prove something. Whereas in the other case, I mean, it's kind of, inconvenient and shit and whatever, but it can be done. Right?
Well,
No,
I was gonna ask
Zeta,
that. Yeah, sorry.
just a moment. So I would agree with you, right? So in this particular topic, I've learned a ton, but as far as physics are concerned, and even the mathematics and all that stuff, I am essentially still what you would call a layman. Okay? So I have decided to scour all of the other third party information that exists about the Earth and the cosmos and so on and so forth. And we've actually spoken to people who are supposedly experts in these fields. And the problem is that they don't actually have the answers for the questions that we're asking. In fact, they are just regurgitating the same surface level puke that you are regurgitating to us. It's the same stuff that you will hear or learn online or in an elementary school classroom. It's just claim stacked up on top of claim. There's no evidence for the things that they're claiming they have evidence for. So it's all speculation. It's all guesswork. In fact, Michio Kaku, I don't know if you know who that is, one of the world-renowned talking head astrophysicists or quantum physicists, whatever, is telling people that all the things that they're doing when it comes to gravity or the cosmos or dark matter or all that stuff, even the Earth itself, is guesswork and leaps of logic. So they don't have any experiments, they don't have any reasonable observations to draw conclusions from, even for the claims that they're making. We have talked to the third parties, they don't have the answers. Look, man, I get it. From your position, you're a normal dude. You have some background in tech. That's all great. I'm sure you've got a very technical mind, so you understand how things work. Terrific. Well, apply that. Make sense out of the world that you live in. If everybody's measuring it flat and everything that we do is predicated on top of a flat Earth and the water's level and it's not moving, you know, from a technical linear thinking mindset, you should go, well, even though I'm told it's this one thing, I experience another and I measure the other thing. Maybe I was told something that was incorrect and I really need to actually scrutinize what I've been told. Ultimately, if people leave here and they go out and they start to challenge claims that they've been given about things, where they have all kinds of explanations, right? It's even very elaborate, and this is how it works, and it's all very, there's a lot of moving parts, but all those moving parts actually don't exist, then you know you got ripped off, and that's okay. We all got ripped off. I believe the same thing that you believe, but I just went ahead and decided to challenge all of them. Most of us did. I don't think there's anybody in this room that started out as a flat earther. We all got the same story. We just challenged the claims. And that's up to you to do. Maybe you don't care. And if you don't care, then don't challenge it. It's no sweat off my back.
Well, I don't know how much I care, but it's definitely a very important question because it's a I guess it's a too big question to be ignored. If if, if because it will be consequence if
Yeah.
yeah, it will be consequence in very large scale because if everything is if everything is a lie, the consequence will be
Nothing.
yeah, will be a lot of consequence because
What?
you have,
Who you gonna? What are you gonna? Who you gonna yell at?
well, for example, I mean the entire space thing with all the years and careers and hundreds of thousands of people working for this, how this, for example, if we take that everything is a lie, you have to take that there has to be some logical,
No,
objective for this.
they'll just tell them what they've really been building. That's all, and they'll just keep working on it.
Mm.
One of the other
Yeah.
things that people don't consider is that, why the lie or what's the purpose of it, blah, 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 blah. And I don't really want to get into that because there could be a lot of reasons and it could be all of them or it could be none of them because they're my speculations. But the things that I do know about how all of the governments around the world, all the corporations, the nation states, who they're owned by, and what their ultimate goal is, according to their records, is to create economies where they create debt slaves, and the debt slaves earn money, and then the banks just essentially extort the people for the tax money, and they keep that, but the money's not even the thing that they're after. It's about you wasting your time working on stuff that essentially doesn't matter, right? So if they can get you to work on things that don't matter, then they'll keep you a slave forever because you think the thing that you're working on matters, but in reality it doesn't. And at the same time, they're extracting the value of the work that you're doing, meaning they're taking the money. And they'll just keep doing that. They'll decrease the value of the money. You have to work harder, right? That's how these slave masters work. They just want the slaves to work. They want them to shut up. They want them to be ignorant. And they want them to work on things that essentially don't make a hill of beans difference. In fact, most of it's all fiction. Imagine all the people building these machines for, NASA to put up in the sky, right?
Well,
And
how
then
is
you
it?
find it's not going
How's
to
it?
go to the
How's it
sky
related to flat Earth though?
because people think that they're working on technology that's predicated on the Earth being a globe, and there is no globe. So they're working on things that don't benefit anybody, essentially. They're just wasting time and money.
Well, what else would be people be?
What else would people be working on? I don't know. Their own families, their own lives, instead of working for somebody else.
Well, in defense of the space career, there are many advancements in science, like material science and polymers and stuff like that, that we get to because of the space career. But of course, that's the indirect benefit of the technological development, that it was necessary to put a man in space. You can believe that that's true or not, but there is a lot of achievement in science and technology, even in software, material science, new components and stuff like that, that was developed by the technology was developed by the space agencies in the world.
Yeah,
Maybe,
right.
yeah.
But how do we not know that stuff would have been designed or created anyways? All of that is just engineering. That's people fiddling with stuff and making it work, right? So why do you need a
Yeah,
space program
they
for
could,
engineering? You
they
don't.
could,
Because
they,
number one, you can't send any of
yeah,
these materials into the region that they're talking about. It doesn't exist.
yeah, they could be do it in other way. If you, I guess, if you join the resources and the people and the minds, I mean, I don't think that there is anything discovered that it's like, magical thinking of something like that. They took what it was in science and they made developments. So I guess if you put hundreds of brilliant minds to work together, brilliant ideas comes from them
Yeah,
eventually.
right. So you put a bunch of reasonably intelligent people together to solve problems, and they're going to get that done. Now, what's amazing is they're solving problems for things that aren't even actually existing in reality, like space vacuums and Van Allen radiation belts. Those don't exist, but they have developed things that potentially, I don't know, could withstand certain amounts of radiation and yada, yada, yada. Well, we kind of needed that anyways, so if that was a problem that we needed to solve, I'm sure the engineers would have figured it out. Meanwhile, there's a lot of practical issues on the Earth that we could solve problems for, but we're wasting time and money and resources on things that don't benefit us in the end. So I would much rather, if the governments were actually worth their salt and actually had the interests of the people in mind, that they would be dumping a bunch of money and manpower into things that are practically useful for us on the Earth, but they're not doing that.